everybody, and we are back. You are watching Cocktail Time Live, your 4-player network. You should be watching over at 4pp.tv if you are watching live. If you're watching over at Twitch TV, you are watching in the wrong place. 4pptv.tv is our live stream at our main website. We have good features like lights out and widescreen, and you can see the entire schedule of what we do over at 4Player Network. And if you're watching and you like what we do here, we do ask that you think about subscribing. You can subscribe to our site through Twitch. It's $4.99 a month. And for that, you get no ads on our game broadcast. You get no ads on the website. You get a handy-dandy, pristine little 4P next to your name in chat. You go into the running for being Chatter of the Month. And if you get chosen as, Subscriber of the Month. And if you get chosen as Subscriber of the Month, we will play the game of your choice, a game of your choice all month long, and then do a podcast about that game for you and with you if you choose to be on it. And our subscribers really help us to keep us going here at 4Player Network, keep the lights on and the doors open. People like Ghost Soup 831, Liz 6005, Reborn Revolution. These are the people that really help us out, so we appreciate that. We love you all. We love all our chatters, but our subscribers especially. All right, we're going to be getting Mo here. Let me get to our thing and the call. All right. I think he's in. Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Mo, how are you doing, man?
Very good. Yourself?
Good. So, everybody, this is Mo from Gamesbymo, developer of A.N.N.E. So we played a bunch of your game over at PAX East, and I actually owe you an apology because we did this great interview on the final day of PAX East. It was really well done. We had a great conversation about A.N.N.E. and just development in general. And then when we got back from PAX East and we watched the raw footage video of it, we realized that your mic wasn't on.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
And we couldn't hear you at all. And I got the raw audio footage, and I tried to fix it, and I tried to do something with it. And it was so low. It'd be like, "So how you doing, Mo?" And he'd be like, "I know." It was very low.
You could have done a voiceover like, "Yes, the game is very good."
So for people who haven't heard of A.N.N.E. yet, it's basically a retro-styled, open-world Metroidvania type of thing. Am I doing it justice, or you can certainly do a better job than me?
Oh yeah, well yeah. Essentially, it's a Metroidvania kind of game. The twist is that you have a ship, so it's basically exploration on a much larger scale. If you want, so you can go inside your ship at will, and the camera zooms out, and then from there, it basically becomes a space shooter. And also, it has RPG elements where your ship can be upgraded, level up, and your character as well. So yeah, essentially it's a Metroidvania, but I really wanted to crank up the exploration up a notch.
Mm-hmm. It's playing the game is really great because my first experience with it was you start as the little robot. And you're kind of going through the levels and you're shooting things, and it has a very Metroid-ish sort of feel, and you're shooting enemies and numbers are coming out and has an RPG element. And then you finally, when you get to this ship, the moment where the game just sort of pulls back and you're able to control the ship and move around the entirety of the world is really kind of a fantastic moment at the beginning of that game that really pulls you in.
Thanks. Yeah, well, that's it's essentially what I started by doing when I did the first prototype was just a guy in a ship, and I don't know. I thought it was just amazing, just playing Super Metroid and seeing the ship at the beginning, like just teasing you this awesome sprite, and Samus comes out, and then it's just like, okay, go and explore the planet, and then you feel like, oh, what if I could take off, and what would it look like? So it's kind of stuff that sort of pushed me to just explore that avenue of having a ship, and essentially that's what I wanted to create too with the zoom out. It's really the feeling of like, okay, wow, this is not just Mega Man, a Mega Man wannabe. It's actually, or Metroid wannabe. It's actually once it zooms out. I guess I'm happy. I'm glad that you actually enjoyed that, because it's really what I really like about the game is really the whole dynamic between the character and the ship.
Yeah. So it's also, I guess, the storyline itself is you're sort of trying to put the pieces of your other robot girlfriend back together, and that's actually who A.N.N.E. is.
Yes, exactly. Anne is essentially your little robot girlfriend in the story. So it's illegal for robots to love each other's on the planet where they're from. So if they get caught, doing bad things or just being obsolete, or in this case, kind of undertaken with a love virus, because it's considered a virus for robots, then they get sent to that planet, and essentially you're on a quest to get her back.
Nice, nice. So when we talked last, you spoke about how you kind of want to have multiple planets, and then the act of getting from one planet or into the other was sort of like was going to herald the sort of space shooter sections. Is that sort of how it's still going to work? And how many planets in total do you have so far?
Actually, right now I'm looking at just having one big kind of huge planet and having all the travel being done like this, just because essentially how in the story the pieces, how she gets disposed of, kind of thing. It's everything happens on this planet where all the robots get dust. It's kind of a planet where all the it's a trash planet if you want, and but it's pretty huge and has lots of different areas. So whenever you travel from an area to another, exactly, it's like kind of explained to you at PAX is it's actually where I take advantage of that travel moment to do a classic space shooting section like Gradius. If you want, like where the camera actually scrolls by itself, and it's really just traveling from an area to another one.
Nice, that's awesome. So there's also like a physics engine in there as well, isn't there?
Yes. Actually, when you're in your ship and you're exploring one of the big areas, you get to move objects around essentially in order to open some path, but also to create platforms for yourself. So I wanted to add some gameplay elements. Essentially, what I wanted to do was put a lot of different gameplay types into one game to create kind of an experience where in one sitting you get a dose of different genres of games. So for the ship, what I thought would be really cool is actually why not use the ship? Actually, since the ship is big, it's more powerful than the character. Why not use that to actually move stuff around the planet in order to explore and create your own platforms and stuff like that? Or even you can grab some huge objects and use that as weapons against enemies. So
yeah, it looks really cool because it's the game itself is sort of beautifully rendered, but it still has that sort of 16-bit retro sort of feel. And then when you throw in this sort of the physics into it and these big blocks kind of being thrown around really beautifully, it creates such this stark contrast that it makes it stand out all the more. Whereas, we see physics in almost all of our games now, but because of the way they're produced, you almost don't even notice it. But one thing with A.N.N.E is it really stands out and it really adds a lot to the game.
Thank you. Well, I'm trying to use it as really a gameplay element in the game, not just as a flashy
Sure,
things for grenade explosions.
Right.
So so yeah, it's really gameplay elements, and at the same time it's inspired by retro games, and it is pixel art, but I'm trying to do my own thing with it, basically, not try to adhere to that Super Nintendo color palettes or things like that. I'm just trying to run wild with it.
Yeah. So you said there's going to be like ship upgrades. What kind of upgrades are going to be on the ship?
Right now, the way I divided them was basically the ship's weapon, the boosters, and the actual armor. And what it does is by changing parts, you get different stats adjustments. So, you can have an armor that will be lighter, so your ship moves faster, but you have less defense. Weapons that can slightly auto-target enemies. Some that might not, but it might have a better firing rate and things like that. So I'm trying to just spice it up with upgrades like this, but upgrades that are actually, how can I say that, actually give you more options rather than, okay, I just found this new part right now. All the 3 parts that I found before are obsolete. This is the very best one. It's more of a really customize your play style more than anything else.
Right. Nice. So how's development going? It's basically, is it just you?
It's just me.
Nice.
And I have my friend Miyamo who's handling the music. I also had a friend contribute a few animations very recently, and so that helps out. It's always fun to have people contribute stuff. Obviously, if the Kickstarter can be successful very soon, I'll be able to have one of my friends contribute a little bit more animations for the game and help out produce the game faster, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's been a solo ride since last September.
Well, yeah, except remember, I was looking on your website right before PAX East, before I contacted you, and they had videos of you just kind of making your station from scratch and spray painting it all together and stuff. It was really cool to see that stuff.
Yeah, I know. I really have to do. Actually, I'm due for another blog right now to just show what we ended up with, because it was crazy. Like I really had this in mind. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do my own booth. I'm gonna do like my characters and with like small cardboard boxes that we are going to paint and stuff. And the painting part went like really well. Okay, cool. We got everything, and then we got to over at Boston, and we're trying to assemble everything. And then we realized that in like 7 hours, honestly, in 7 hours of being there, we just made like the main character's head, and I was planning to have like the girl's head as well, right, and also like some other like cardboard made stuff. And it was just like, okay, well, I guess it's just gonna be one guy's head, and that's it. And we rolled with the punches, but it was ridiculous. Like the initial plan was way too like way over kind of done, for I didn't expect it to take so long to just glue boxes together with a glue gun. 3 guys as well. Like I had my brother and a friend helping me out, so it was crazy.
Oh man, so how's the Kickstarter going? So the Kickstarter started last week, was it?
It's tomorrow. It's going to be 2 weeks exactly, and I think we're close to like 90% or something. I think we're almost there. It's really exciting. It's just that a lot of people will want to see the Wii U stretch goal being met and stuff. But it's just like I for me, it's a question of just making a really good game, whether it's on PC, Mac, Linux first. As long as the game is really good, like people shouldn't worry. Like if the game is really what I want it to be. I mean, after that, it should be, third parties will come, worst case scenario, and say, okay, we'll do a Wii U port or version or whatever. So, because a lot of people sometimes are like, oh, I don't want to put, money into it if it doesn't make it to the Wii U stretch goal. And I'm just like, well, if you put money now, I'll be able to make the game. And even if we don't get to the Wii U goal, most likely it'll happen on the Wii U at some point,
Yeah, like you put a good game out there and sort of build it and they will come sort of approach.
Exactly, so I'm not too stressed about it. For sure it would be fun to just explode and have a crazy amount on there, but at the same time, as long as I meet my funding goal, I mean, that's the important part,
Yeah. So how did these ideas sort of start to form for A.N.N.E? Like what were you doing at the time, and how did that initial inspiration kind of spark up?
Honestly, I was staring at my game collection, and I was like, I'd play some Secret of Mana again, but it's 30 hours, and I don't want to invest some time into it, and I was I'm looking at like so many games, I felt like playing back some classics, and I was just like, but I don't feel like playing that, like, so at some point, I was just like, you know what, I'm feeling like I need a bite of everything in one kind of playthrough, because I don't have time to game as much anymore. And it's crazy because I keep buying games anyways.
we all kind of do that for some reason.
Yeah. Especially crazy Steam sales. You're like, oh my god, buy, and then I mean, yeah, it's crazy. So that's the main inspiration was really that. I mean, I was like, I need a game that I can get a bite of everything in one playthrough and then take a break, and I'm satisfied for the day. And also like I tried to also like kind of recreate a classic, like based on all the games that I like, but kind of cut down on the stuff that makes it tedious sometimes to go back to retro classics. Like for example, Super Metroid, I love that game, but there's some parts where you'll be like, oh no, I forgot about this, I have to backtrack all the way, and then you're like, ugh. So I'm trying to like, okay, you reach like a dead end, okay, teleport back to the ship, explore somewhere else, things like that, and I can't really sit down and read so much text anymore. Like I have a hard time caring about story in games. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, cool, yeah, cool. I just want to play.
Right.
So because of that, like the story in the game is basically like, I mean, it's limited to an intro and an outro kind of thing. If there's something happening, it's told in game with like, you'll see some characters moving, you'll see some stuff happening. Like I want to leave it to the imagination and kind of interpretation of the player. I don't want to have text bubbles and reading forever. So essentially I'm making like, kind of going back to my roots, but with a modern touch, basically thrown into it.
That's so funny because we were actually having, some of us on the site were having a Twitter conversation about this very thing about one of our founders, Brad, who's actually in the chat right now. He's Folder Brad. Wanted to go back to some old NES games, and he wanted to use emulators and ROMs to sort of kind of get through a lot of the fluff. And
Yeah,
then,
for sure.
And then some of us were like, well, there's might be value in actually having the original experience, like a pure experience how it used to be.
Oh yeah.
So it's so funny you mentioned that because we were kind of going back and forth on Twitter on this exact sort of thing.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, right now I'm actually shopping for CRT television because I want to sit down with my son and be like, I'll show you what gaming is, son. Stop playing that Angry Bird stuff. So yeah. So I want to get a CRT because the feeling is just, I mean, I guess it's nostalgia, but even for him, like he's gonna have this. I mean, it's not a fancy flat screen LCD and stuff. It's like that, you turn it on and. I want him to really have the feel, and for sure playing on console and the actual NES with the actual controller and not having save states is really, it's a different experience. I mean, you're really playing the game for what it is. Like I remember I tried to do, like way back when the emulators were coming out and I was all excited and I was trying to do games like Final Fantasy 3 on the NES and stuff like that. And I was just like, it's cool, but because it's on the emulator, you don't care for it as much. Seriously, like you don't care for it as much. You don't have that same kind of involvement as you would with the actual cartridge and stuff. That's my personal opinion, but it's the feel that I have whenever I go back to classics, basically.
Yeah, but it's like at the same time, and sort of also cuts through a lot of that chaff as well. It seems like Anne is sort of bringing that pristine experience, but sort of contemporary, using the contemporary game designs to sort of make it better.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if you're talking after that, having 3 lives to finish, a 30-stage game. Yeah. No, I think some of that stuff is, we can probably do without. But at the same time, I mean, back then I remember, I guess it's a question of time too. I was younger and I had more time on my hands, so I could play Mario every day and not have a care about the world. Also we didn't have as many games. I think would be something else too. Like I wouldn't be able to go out and say, hey, I want another $89 NES game, because around here that was like the price for a NES game was around there, like 79 or 89. That's a lot.
Wow, yeah.
So whenever you buy a game, you you really enjoy it.
I remember being younger, and I would be able to rent a game over a weekend. And that was always a very stressful situation, because if you rented a shitty game, you'd be stuck with it all weekend. And as you know, the majority of old NES games were pretty shitty. So the odds were never in your favor.
No, I know. Well, actually, I was lucky for that, as the rental store we had was actually 2 games for 1 all the time.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, it was kick-ass.
Increase your odds.
Yeah, exactly. So I would always pick a game, Sometimes I'd even play that safe that I'd get like a game that I beat already, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm feeling like some Contra this weekend. Oh, and you know what? I'll try Raid on Berlin Bay, and then I was like, what is this game? I don't get it. What? I'll play some Contra, I guess. But
just go back to that game.
Yeah.
So how far are you into N development? What are you sort of thinking is your overall timeline, and how much of that supreme vision do you think you're going to be able to hit?
Well, the thing is, I want to make sure that I release something that I'm really proud of. Mm-hmm. And right now, I'm targeting a March 2014 release for PC. Mm-hmm. Like I put a disclaimer on the Kickstarter page. If close to that point, I'm not really happy with it. I think it needs some more time and stuff. I will take the extra months. I think it's important, because in the end, like, it may be disappointing that, a game that you shed some bucks for isn't coming out on the day that it's supposed to come out. But in the end, like, there's a reason why Blizzard, like, push their games once in a while, and Valve as well. Like, if it's not ready, it's not ready. And you can't release a game and say, well, guys, that's the best I could do. Like, I would have taken more time, but you guys want it, so here it is. You don't want to.
People don't want to.
Yeah.
Who was it that said late games are late until they're out, but bad games are bad forever? I forget who said that. Do you guys Bob or Chris? You know who said that?
No, I can't remember. But that's very, very true.
Maybe somebody in chat knows. Oh, Miyamoto said that, actually. Miyamoto said that.
Nice, and I trust Miyamoto's word. So,
yeah.
But yeah, essentially that's my target. I mean, I set myself a target because it's always a good motivation. because I do work from home. I don't have any problems with it. I know I tried to do a lot of projects with some people in the past, and for them it was just like, it can't work when I'm at home. I have so many games on my PC, and I don't have a boss behind me to,
Really? Yeah, some people need that constant, that threat, I think.
Yeah, because otherwise, it's too easy. I mean, Steam is open, and your buddy's like, oh, yeah, I'll be right there. But me, I don't have that. Because even when I was working, I'd get home and it was just like my obsession. Like I'm like, okay, I have this idea. I have to do a prototype. I have to, oh my God, I got this crazy design. I have to put it down. So for me, it's really kind of a drug. It's something that I can't help. I do it no matter what. So being able to just take that dream full time from in September, and then being able to get funded on Kickstarter will really it's a dream come true. Like I've been doing that for years, and it's just like, all right, finally I can do it for myself full time. I don't have to do that for someone else, because I was already doing it at home anyways afterwards. So it's kind of heavy for the family. You come home and you keep on working, keep on trucking. So right now, it's going to be,
Yeah. Where else were you working?
Before that, I was at Beanox Activision.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was working on some Spider-Man games over there.
Right.
And then before that, I've always mostly worked at small studios, doing like third-party games. Nothing that I want to go on top of the Himalayas and scream, proudly about. But it's always what attracted me in my career was always smaller teams where you can actually have a say in different areas of making a game, because it's what I do. I make games when I get home, and I'm obsessed with games. So for me, like working for Ubisoft and being like the 3,000th employee in the corner just modeling crates for Assassin's Creed, it's not rewarding enough. Like I love the game. Like you're proud to put on your resume. But it's every day on a day-to-day basis. It's a different reality,
Yeah.
Than being in a small team. So
and just the lack of bureaucracy of just kind of doing your own thing must be really freeing, I guess, for the creative process itself.
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, you can't compare. Like, sometimes though, it's good to bring people on board once in a while. Like, I bring some of my good friends once in a while just to get some feedback, or just, hey, what do you think about this? Where should I go with this? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm not by myself because that's what I want. It's just that it's the reality of it. I've tried working with other people before. There's always someone that gives up halfway through the project. There's always, nobody always has the same level of motivation that you do. So it makes things like really hard, and emotionally sometimes it's like, oh no, Johnny's not working on a project. It's not going to go anywhere. Right. So right now I don't have that problem. I'm just going head first, just like, that's it. It's me. And if you guys want to tag along. So that's kind of what's been happening with my friend contributing animations. I'm not waiting for him. It's just, if I have something a sprite that I've just done, I send it over, and I'm like, hey, I need this, and then I keep working on something else. So, so it's really been like really support, like really as a support more than kind of I'm waiting on you. Are you done?
Right.
Kind of stuff.
We're a small volunteer-oriented site, so I definitely know what that's like.
Right.
Sometimes I'm there with you.
It completely reminds me of my current situation, where I'm a salaried programmer for a tech company from the Bay Area. So I'm not even working on video games in my day job, but I'll spend 8-9 hours at work, come home, and then have to do that, sit down and work on my own video game for another 3 hours, and then on the weekends too, and the time I can actually spend on it. But having a team, like I have a team that's helping me with this current game I'm working on, and we meet every week. But it is definitely, I feel that where it's hard to keep everybody motivated on the same project and have the same focus and the same kind of view as like, we're going to get this done eventually, which is, I'm always like trying my hardest to show them something new, something awesome on like every weekly meeting. It's like, okay guys, look what I did, and this is like incorporating your work. Let's be motivated to do more. But it's a struggle. It's always a constant struggle for me.
Yeah, no, I know, and I never had that skills. That's I don't know if it's a skill set. Like I don't know what it is. Like anywhere, everywhere I worked. Anyways, like I've seen a lot of people. There's different levels of motivation, and the only thing that kept those guys coming, if you ask me, is just that they had a 40-hour salary job, so they kept coming back. Otherwise, like I know a lot that just like well, whatever, they go home. It's like, whatever, this job, it's just another job. And how do you motivate those people? So
Yeah.
I don't know if there's probably a science behind it. I know money's a good motivation
Yeah.
apparatus, but
I know, like, at least in politics, there's the whole idea of starting a parade, as that the whole idea is if you start them, if you want to get politicians on your side, you first start a grassroots movement that's popular, and then because the politicians want to be involved in whatever's popular, they'll get to the front of the parade and start to lead it automatically. And I think
well,
in like development and small projects or like game development or working on small sites, sometimes I feel like if I start doing something really cool, like you said, and start doing a lot of things, make the whole thing seem so interesting that people will want to be involved just by the nature of being associated with it.
yeah, there you go. Exactly. Well, that's it. As soon as you do something that you're really passionate about, and you keep doing it, people slowly latch onto it. They're like, hey, man, this is cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like, my friend doing animations, contributing animations for the game. Like, I met him. Like, he sent me an email out of the blue, and then we met and stuff, and it was just, it's amazing because I know he's joining in, he's helping in because he's motivated, he's really excited, the project is really interesting to him. So it has a very different dynamic than just somebody, like, you start with somebody in a room, it's like, hey, we should do this. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But then once you start doing stuff, it's like, it's not that cool. I want a game tonight. I want to work on the game. And, it's a very different thing. But yeah, essentially, as soon as you do something and you just do it, even if you start on your own, as soon as you start, the ball starts rolling, like, for sure, like, it starts to pick up, like, so it's really exciting, and it's the best people will come, around that time. Like, you get some of the best people that contribute, to your project, because they're there because they believe in your project. They had a little taste of it, and now they believe in it, and they come and join. So yeah, exactly, it's always a good thing. But exactly, you have to start the parade. You have to start the ball rolling.
And then it's like, if you start getting more attention and, like, they'll be like, hey, I want to be on Polygon too, and they want to get involved.
Right.
But let's just to go back to the game real quick. You said there's going to be different areas of the planet and stuff, and so the area
Yes.
that I played was sort of like a rocky area. Are there other environments and stuff that you're going to be playing through?
Oh yeah, big time. Essentially, what happens is the story behind the planet is that the human world. It's not actually. I don't really explain it anywhere in the game, and I'm still working on that lore of the planet they're actually coming from. But the people that are throwing the robots on that planet, they've been doing so for a long time, and they always expect the robots to be inactive, hold control on there. But slowly, like, some of the robots have started to put themselves back together, and they're starting to thrive on that planet. So essentially, the area that you saw and that's visible in the trailer is actually it's not too far. It's actually an icy planet, and there's a crust, and it's just under kind of the icy crust. It's as if it's kind of a cave that's like has like hot springs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's close to the planet's surface. But eventually you go deeper and you go into different areas. So there'll be, like of course, like some lava themed stages. I'm trying to keep it like very classic. Also have kind of a how can I say, it's like a hothouse, like with plants and kind of jungle theme as well. So I'm trying to really spice up and go get like a lot of different teams just to spice it up, and also have nice transitions between, a team and another one. So, but also those are like huge worlds. So inside these worlds, then you have like, extra themes like, rooms or caves and stuff. So I really want to create a lot of variety in the environment and something memorable where it's easy to, if you talk to your buddy, it's easy to say like, oh, that item is close to that huge statue, or, I think it's important in games, especially when they're fairly big, to have, reference points and landmarks.
Nice. So are these worlds sort of entwined at all, or are they sort of just completely separate areas?
I'm still looking into that, because the thing is, right now I'm planning to separate them to have the space shooter segments in between, right?
Right.
They are sort of interconnected, but you'd have to then travel to go. But eventually, I'm thinking how I can connect them on foot as well, to still make things more interesting rather than just have them as separate entities, and then you just take your ship to go one to another. I still think it's really awesome if you can walk also and reach, arrive into different areas in a different way than just your ship. So yeah, definitely something that's planned eventually
Nice. And so
to have them.
and the ship be like more of a fast travel with a space shooter in between kind of thing.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. So, you know, I think we're pretty totally excited about this game. How long have you been working on it from the beginning? Like, how long has it been so far?
I think I have a total of probably 5 months of full-time work on it, and then the rest has been, getting ready for PAX
Oh
or
yeah. Well,
a little bit of.
you did like 3 conventions in a row, didn't you?
Yeah, actually
Yeah.
went to PAX and GDC Play,
Oh
so I
wow.
did two in a row, and so yeah, that was like a good 2 weeks nonstop away from home.
Wow.
But it was pretty exciting. PAX East especially. Like I wish I could go to PAX Prime this year. Like I don't think I'm gonna be there, but it's an event that I'm really looking forward to go one of these days, if not next year. For the launch or something.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could. I mean, I'm right in Seattle, so we'll be at PAX Prime as well, and
Sick.
it's a great. I mean, it's really great. I'm anxious to see how different it is from PAX East, because PAX East was, about 70% indie games this time around,
That's right.
and
That's true.
which
It was
was
insane.
which was great. But it's like it's never been like that at PAX Prime. So I'm wondering if either that was just a PAX East thing, or if that's sort of the direction that PAX is taking overall, and then PAX Prime this year will have the same amount of indie games. Because PAX Prime traditionally, that when I've been there, they've had an indie presence, but it's always been like quite a bit smaller. So.
Right, and part of it this year was because of the indie mega booth.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty sure they must be taking it to PAX Prime as well. I'm not sure, but that's
Yeah, they'll be
I
at
think
Prime as well.
right, and that I think is pushed by Cappy Games and stuff. But yeah, those guys were taking huge, enormous floor space,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was really cool. It was yeah, and I mean PAX even when there's I went to PAX Prime once. I think it was in 11, and it was just amazing. I was blown away. I was like, as soon as I got there, I was like, okay, this is the best gaming event ever. Because it's real gamers. It's not, I've been to E3 when I was working for Activision. I've been, they sent me to a bunch of places, and for me, PAX East was just like, wow, that's it. I'm with those people are all my friends. We're all gamers. Yeah, it's like the feeling is amazing. So,
Oh,
so
exactly.
yeah,
Every year when there's PAX Prime, I'm like, oh, all my people are in my city now. It's like it's all these great people.
yeah. It's a really, really good show.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on. Is there anything else you want to leave us with before you head out?
Well, make sure to check the Kickstarter, the trailer, if you haven't checked it yet. Follow on Facebook and Twitter on all that stuff, and just thank you for tuning in.
No problem, Al. Definitely keep
And
us in the loop. We're really excited about this.
thank you. Yeah, big thanks for the invite.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, good night, man. All right, Mo Brutes, everybody. Indie developer for the Gamesbymo, developer of A.N.N.E, which is really awesome. I'm really looking forward to that coming out.